I was thinking yesterday, I had a bit of maybe a light bulb moment in trying to understand what Arteta's trying to do at times. And I think, and there might be a better term for it, I think you could call it something like percentages football, which I might have mentioned before. And what I mean by that is, do you remember interviews he's done in the past where he said, like, this was back when we were really shit, right? And he basically said, well, if we keep crossing the ball, we'll eventually score. Like, he was like, it's maths. Like, it has to happen. We keep crossing it. It will eventually end up in the back of that. He said that in like 2021, I think, 2020 or something. And then he said last season in the summer, do you remember the interview where he said, all the data showed we should have been champions, but we weren't? Do you remember that quote? Sort of in July, just before coming back for pre-season, I think around the Euros time. Said all the data said we should have been champions, but we weren't. So you have to look at why that was. Now, I think he plays percentages. But what I mean by that is, I think he sort of believes. Oh yeah, I forgot we were all out of position. I sort of think Arteta believes that if our XG is higher than the opposite team's XG, if we are good defensively, we will ultimately score a goal somehow, and it should be enough. In the way we won at Tottenham. Probably in how we did at Villa, in how we did a lot of the running last season. Havertz with the moment to Trossard at Old Trafford, we win 1-0. A couple set pieces against Tottenham. Ultimately, it was just about enough. I think what I find staggering about that is, doesn't that lean then more towards needing a real guaranteed goal scorer? Doesn't that lean more towards having someone you 100%. Can really bank on? And that's what I find interesting, because I think Arteta, and I said this on my match reaction on my channel, like, do not take this as me defending Arteta. But I think Mikel sits there and goes, yeah, but Martinelli should have scored that chance at Bournemouth, so we should have won. Like, I think that's how he thinks. Well, that chance was better than our chance was better than their chance, so we should have won that game, really. I think he looks at Newcastle and goes, well, Gordon, Isak, one moment of quality. They didn't really show much more than that all game. Rice should have not won in the back post. Marino pretty much off the line cleared. We probably should have won that game. I honestly think that's how he thinks about it. Like really, this should have happened and this shouldn't have happened. Now, Mikel's I'm sure he's got a much more complex football brain than that. But sometimes it feels like that. And it feels like it's about, well, the data will go in one way, then it'll go our way eventually.